Hello and welcome to Wellness Quarters, where wellness lives. My name is Gayle Nowak. I'm your host, Wellness for All expert leader and communication and emotional wellness coach. The Wellness Universe is thrilled to bring you this interview series as part of our Wellness for All program because we believe that happy, healthy, and healed humans lead to peace globally. Join us here on the second Tuesday of each month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time and the fourth Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for a 15-minute session with our members as they offer insights, practical tools, and actionable advice to enhance your well-being. This pay what you can donation-based program is supported by generous viewers like you. If you'd like to donate, you can do that now, after we're done, or anytime in the future using the link that I'll put in the chat. And a special thanks to everyone who has already donated. And if you'd like to reach out to me about the show, my contact details are in the chat as well. At the end of the show, you'll see a pop-up to leave a rating and review. We're so grateful for yours because it helps us reach more people on their wellness journey. Today, we're speaking with Laura Ballerini about becoming a perspective shifter. Laura is an award-winning designer and the creative mind behind her communications boutique of more than 25 years. She began her career in the advertising department at the Calgary Herald and later earned her visual communications degree from Alberta University of the Arts. A naturally quiet and introverted creative, Laura has since embraced what she calls her quietly fierce leadership style, a blend of sensitivity, strength, and clarity that shapes her life and work. With a diverse client base across many industries, she brings fresh eyes and a unique ability to shift perspective to every project she takes on. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Kim. What a nice introduction. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Actually, it's Gayle.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries. So, Laura, let's start with you. What led you from being a quiet, introverted creative in the early days of your career to someone who now teaches others how to shift perspective and empower themselves?
Well, I'm still a shy, quiet, introverted designer, so nothing really changed there. And I actually take pride in that because being quiet actually enables me to do a lot more listening. I'm usually at the one at the back of the room doing the listening, even with my clients. If we're doing discovery sessions, it's they're doing the talking. I'm, spurring them on with the questions, and I'm listening. And I find that as a listener, I'm assessing, and then I'm coming to the table with fresh ideas that reflect what they've told me, but I've kind of put a creative spin on it so that I'm addressing their vision and their mission, but in a visually creative way. So I find being the quiet creative is actually my superpower in many ways.
Yeah, I can see how it would be, especially in the field that you're in and working with clients and helping them to sort of decode what maybe is in their mind and turning that into helping them turn that into reality. Was there ever a point where maybe that quiet, introverted nature, maybe you didn't feel like it was a superpower?
Um, yeah, for a long time, it felt like it was a burden in a way. It was like I wish I was that person that lit up the room when I walked in, and I've realized that I do, but in a different way. And I feel like, and I just am really sensitive to today's world through to all the turmoil that's going on, and I find that that quiet presence is very welcome. And I find even with my clients, they like to talk about their business. They like to talk about their competitors and all that. And I find that my presence influences that. It kind of opens the doors to them speaking, and they know that I'm listening and I'm interpreting and I'm very much asking the questions that aren't being told. So I find that that although for a long time I thought my quietness was a burden or a weakness, I have really come to embrace that. I coined myself recently creatively fierce, and I'm creatively fierce because I think I listen and I feel the room, I feel the energy, and what my clients are saying and not saying, and kind of anticipating where we need to go. So I have embraced it. I've realized that I am an empath, and I've really appreciated that that is my superpower, and I need to really move forward with that and be proud of that, as opposed to, being the shy, quiet one is actually my like I say, my superpower, and I'm really embracing that.
Yeah, yeah. And it sounds like you became your own perspective shifter on that. And in a loud and noisy and chaotic world, I'm thinking of, oh, I don't know if I'm going to remember her name. I think it's Susan Cain, and her I think the name of her book was Quiet, and that was really
Mm-hmm.
when introversion got put on the map, I think, in a more high profile and public way. And it seems like our society tends to reward extroversion, and not that either one is better than the other. It's just different ways of moving through the world, and they each
Mm-hmm.
have their strengths. And so I love that you have come to this place of really owning that, and seeing it as a superpower, and how valuable that actually is in a world that's very noisy and chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you've developed a process here specifically on becoming a perspective shifter. Can you walk us through that, and how that helps people experience more ease or more empowerment in their daily lives?
Yes, for sure. And I want to thank actually Jean Voice Dart. I was part of her anthology, and we were to write a tool at the end of our story. And I really had to think about, what do I bring to the world? What kind of tools do I have? And it really encouraged me to develop a tool called the Perspective Shifter. And for me, it was, I was going through a challenging period in my life a couple of years ago, and I really had to shift perspective. And it was difficult because it was a difficult situation, but it really started in my heart. I really had to shift and go, this is a wake up call. This is something that I need to be aware of. So I really started shifting in my heart, which is a really hard first step, because you have to take that negative and really embrace it and go, there's a lesson here that I need to embrace. So it's really feeling that with my heart, and then using my eyes to go, using that vision to see what's here. What do I need to see that I'm not seeing? And, I really realize that many times, when we close our eyes, that's when the vision is the clearest. That's when we see the clearest, when we close our eyes. And I noticed when I'm working, I start closing my eyes a lot more to see, what am I envisioning? What is that design or that feeling I'm trying to create? So I'm finding I see the clearest in many ways when my eyes are closed. And then finally, I mentioned it earlier, but it's really about listening, and it's about asking the questions that perhaps aren't being asked. So I find that through the heart, through our eyes, and through our ears, we really need to shift perspective and really hear what's not being said, and shift that perspective to, that lesson that may be lurking under the surface that we're not seeing because we're not listening for it, or we're not seeing it. So perspective shifting to me is something very deep. It's very personal, but I see it even with my family members who may be seeing this very disruptive world in politics and stuff, and going, okay, well, have you thought about it this way? Or, have you felt how those people might be feeling in this instance? So really trying to flip that and use it as a tool, not only for my work, but for my family and personal situations where, you know, I feel like the perspective is off and it needs to be shifted. So I'm using that tool a lot, particularly these days where there's a lot of turmoil in the world. But I found it's been a really good resource for me, and I think it would be really valuable for people to tap into that.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is that it's it's being present to the environment around us, but then also coming back to self, coming back within oneself and tuning in to, okay, what am I feeling? What's in my heart right now? And there's a balance between what's happening here and what's happening here.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. I'm taking a look at the comments here. Leah says, I see more clearly when I close my eyes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's something about that. Something about closing your eyes that just automatically, I don't know, there's probably some brain scientist out there who can explain that better than I can, but I have that sensation too of like when you just close your eyes, everything slows down and quiets down and you get more centered. Kathleen says, listening deeply is a gift. Yeah, yeah, it is a gift.
Mhm.
And it's something that I think that we've hopefully all have had the benefit of receiving, being on the receiving end of deep listening. Um, and gosh, wouldn't it be wonderful for more of to receive that more often than maybe
Mhm.
we sometimes do. Um, Jean says, I draw and create music with eyes closed and encourage my clients to
Mhm.
do the same. Yeah,
Love that.
beautiful. I love that too. So, do you have you talked a little bit about kind of alluded to your own experience, and I'm just wondering if you can share an example either from your personal life, it doesn't have to be, or client work where this shifting perspective created a breakthrough or deepened a relationship or a connection.
Yeah, for sure. So 3.5 years ago, I've told this story, so I'll share it again. But 3.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I've never been sick. I've never had to worry about my health. So it was a real wake up call. So for me, I had to really dig deep to go, what's the message here? What do I need to learn? And for me, initially, it was like, okay, like I just said, it is a wake up call. I need to eat better. I need to get more sleep. I need to learn how to de-stress. And quite frankly, that's part of where the wellness universe really appealed to me, because it's like, wow, this is about really turning inward and learning how to reduce stress and listen to that internal voice. So that happened to me. I really did had to flip the switch in my heart to go, I can't be angry. I have to move forward in a positive way. And through that, I met angels that walk the earth. Nurses through oncology and the doctors were amazing. And I, rather than being angry about it or I didn't deserve this, it's like, wow, what a beautiful opportunity I have to meet these angels on earth. So I really flipped in a really major way to, I've met people that are angry when they get sick, and I have really had to flip it like very quickly to, I can either be miserable about this path that I'm on, or I really can flip it and go, wow, I'm meeting these beautiful people that I never would have met. Visually, I lost my hair. I'm a visual person. My hair it entered the room before I did when I was, before I got cancer. So losing my hair it sounds like a vanity thing, but it really visually impacted me because it was my identity. And I
Yeah.
realized I am so much more than my hair. So visually, it was like I could close my eyes again and feel that I'm the same person. In fact, I'm a better person without my hair. So obviously, my hair grew back, and I'm regaining that old identity, but I've become a better person through it. And then, hearing and hearing what's not being said, that's a tough one in this particular case, but it was really, my husband was very negative, and he would talk about, you didn't deserve this, you're the best person I know, blah blah blah. So for him, it was, I had to kind of be strong for him and listen to him, but flip the switch and kind of his perspective to go, you know what, this happened for a reason. Let's take it as a gift in a way, because of all the beautiful experiences that I did receive through quite a traumatic diagnosis. So I am on the road to recover. I feel better than I ever have. But as far as perspective, I feel deeper. I listen deeper, and I see things in a different way. So that was a real life experience for me that really helped solidify my perspective shifting.
Yeah, really, really powerful, really powerful. And I wonder too, do you feel that coming going through that experience and coming from the angle of, what can I learn from this? Or, what's it teaching me about life? What's it teaching me about myself? Do you feel that that impacted your healing?
Definitely. Definitely. I see the world differently. I have a granddaughter and I see the joy that she sees. This was a time of COVID as well, so it was particularly difficult. It was a dark period
Yeah.
in life. It was gray. And I actually wrote a story about that there was shades of gray in COVID. And I had this beautiful little granddaughter that saw color. She saw the blue
Mm,
sky, she saw the green grass, and just visually, and me as a visual, it's like the gray was disappearing because I saw these fresh young eyes that weren't seeing the gray. They were seeing through that and seeing this beautiful world that was still there, but somehow we were masked with all this grayness through a very difficult time of COVID. So it really helped me to see, you know what, we got to keep moving forward.
yep. Yeah. Oh, your mic just muted. Hold on a sec. See if we can get that. There we go.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, that's beautiful. Seeing life through the innocent eyes of a child, right? Really, you want to change perspective, go hang out with with toddlers and
Yeah.
even, slightly older children, and you just see the world in a different way. It's so
Mhm.
beautiful, Laura, and I'm so glad to hear that you're, in recovery and really just enjoying life and owning your gifts. And it's such a gift to have you here today. If people want to learn more about you, they want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
I'll actually put my website in the chat and they can contact me. My email and my work is there if they want to see samples of my work. That would be great. I'd appreciate that. And yeah, my email is through there as well.
Beautiful. Before we wrap up, I just want to share. Kathleen said, "There's value, meaning, and purpose in every moment, especially the challenging ones." And
Mm.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, thank you, Laura, for sharing time, space, and energy with us today. Thanks to everyone joining us live and watching the replay. We'd love to see you for our next show on December 9th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time with Megan Edge on Power
Mm.
Words for Healing. Until then, be well, everyone.